in life. That way, you can just get that out of the way and enjoy the rest of it. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yeah? Well, there we go. Love it. Love it. Get to spoil them early. Love it.
All right. Well, first and foremost, please get out the duct tape for Rennie today. Just kidding. We appreciate each and every one of you coming out today. This is something that was at the request of our memberships, that we do these that we teach on networking, social media, business finances and personal finance, and then also building a business culture. Last year, we did a survey at the last quarter asking what can we do, and adding these workshops was actually at the top. We had about 40-something people signed up for today. I see it's a little lighter than that, but we'll see does this time work for everybody? Is this okay? Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm obviously you're here, but doing things right. Maybe not everybody else, but if you do talk to anybody about it and say, hey, give us that feedback. Look, we are open to adapting to make this the best for you, because making it best for you and empowering you makes a strong East St. Tammany business culture, business alliance, and a phenomenal network.
If I may point out, I noticed that everyone that I hoped would be here is here. So congratulations.
There you go.
All the cool kids have arrived.
I'm Trey. I'm the president of the East St. Tammany Business Alliance for this year. And this is Stephen Cochran. Stephen, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, what you do.
I own a company called Impression Management, and I teach leadership for business specifically. I think that anybody who wants to be at the head of a company not only has to get people to want to work with them, but also owes them a structured business that can be successful. If people are going to put their livelihoods in your hands, then you need to have your leadership skills top-notch.
So Stephen and I decided to come together, or I really approached him and said, hey man, I watch your videos on Facebook. They're great. I think you'd be a great addition to this. We're kind of setting up these workshops as panels. Our next one's a marketing panel, right? To where you hear from different people. It's not just one person on the topic, because not everything works for everybody. There are people who take different paths, they have different niches and things like that. And so we met about going over this. I brought the big notepad, and now he's making me look bad with this wonderful little one.
That's all I need.
But today we want to cover the goals of networking, the wins in networking, the mistakes we make in networking, and the tools of networking. That's what I have written down. Is that what you had written down?
I have none of that written down.
So anyway, we want to cover that, but I'm going to let Stephen kick it off. We kind of discussed Q&As and all of these things, so go ahead.
Two things. Number one, I would like for you, if you're not currently doing so, to hop up and go sit by someone that you don't know. I'll wait.
I'll be first, that's fine. I am.
I just met too many people. Does that count?
That works. That works. Boom. Boom.
How long will we be gone?
Only for the seat. And if you're that comfortable, madam, I'm not going to force you.
Wow. I just felt all of the tension in the room go up. Okay?
Hi.
I like that tactic. I like that. Yeah. So the idea being that when we show up to networking events is to not go hang out with your buddies. And so we figured we'd start off that way. So I've got a question. When you think of networking, what comes to mind? What is it for? Feel free to shout.
Or do we want them to raise their hands? I was told to raise my hands all the time.
Fair enough. Joseph.
Relationship building.
Okay.
What comes to mind is, hey, I'm Joseph. What's your name?
Heard that. Anybody else? When you think about coming to these, what's your mindset on the way in?
Free food.
Love that. Making connections?
Learning how to talk to people about your business.
So learning. Okay. So practice.
I always look at it like you're building up your referral book, because you might not need me, or I might not need you, but somebody else that we talk to, it's all about passing along businesses to other people.
I like that.
Networking can take us places we never thought we would go, right? You don't know who, what, when, where, why, or how you might ever need a network. 70 to 85% of jobs are filled through network. Not through Indeed, not through any of these hiring things. 75 to 80% is filled through networking. So the benefits of networking are astounding. And so what do you believe, I guess here's my question, is the one thing that holds you back from networking?
Fear.
It was the first word we wrote. So define that down for me. Fear of.
Rejection. Rejection, yeah. That they won't like you.
Mm.
Invite you to sit with them at the cool kids table, whatever.
Isn't it interesting how walking onto like high school campus for the first time, who's going to be my friend, kind of lingers into adulthood? Write that down, young man. Write that down. Yeah. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Everybody wants to be liked. So fear of rejection, fear they'll ignore you. Anything else? Any other? How so?
I mean, that's a fear of mine. Walking through the parking lot, I'm like, don't fall, don't fall.
I was just going to ask you.
Seriously.
Yeah. Cheryl?
I
No.
just said that was fine.
So
Time, possibly.
time,
Finding the time to get out and network a business. Because if you're running a business, you don't have a lot of free time. So you've got to make time to get out and do that too. So.
That's true.
Sometimes people are afraid to talk about themselves or what they've got going on in a positive light.
so absolutely, and fear is one of those things, and that's why we asked everybody to change a table. Why? Because you felt comfortable where you were, and in order to make networking possible, you have to get out of feeling comfortable, right? And something that goes along with that fear, as you said, they might not accept you, is that we have an expectation when we walk into a room to network that, man, if I don't walk out closing a deal today, I've failed. How many of you have left a networking meeting and you felt like you haven't accomplished anything?
Well, and I think there's different ways to look at that. Because when I go to a networking meeting, I used to, just years ago when I was a little bit younger, I was kind of a shy person, and I will talk to anybody walking this earth now. It don't matter to me, and that's the thing is, if I go, wherever I go, whether it's the weekends now and I'm playing golf with buddies or whatever, I'm letting them know what I do. I see other people sitting at the 19th hole, and we grab a cold beverage and, hey man, how's it going? Like, well, man, this is what I do, and I share it all the time. I mean, not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but that's what I do. I'll network everywhere I go.
But that's it. It's the point of networking everywhere you go. I was talking to somebody, and I said, look, come to our networking events, our business after hours and everything that we have. It's great, and you get to meet people, right? That's one of the most important things is meeting these people, having networks. And I said, statistically, it takes from 7 to 11 impressions you make on somebody before you come to mind when somebody says, do you know somebody in the X business or whatever, right? It actually takes many impressions to get to that point. And they say, oh no, I make my impression on the first impression.
That's probably not a good one.
But I'm there to close it on the first one. And I thought, man, I get that. What a positive momentum. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. I did cold calls for years. I was in sales. I was on the road salesman, right? And I did cold calling for years. I was selling industrial cleaners, and I would drive by a place and I'm like, oh, they won't talk to me, and go on down the road, right? I'm like, man, same route, same time. I passed this business every single time. And it was that fear of rejection. I automatically had it in my mind that I wasn't going to benefit from going in there, right? And the way that has flipped my mind for networking and thinking about that in sales and all of this stuff is that the answer is automatically no until you ask. And even though that's a simplistic thought, it's a foundational thought when it comes to networking and sales. The person isn't going to network. They're not going to do business with me. They're not going to talk to me. They're not going to invite me to sit at the cool kids table if I don't try, if I don't ask. The answer is automatically no. I'm here, and the answer is automatically no. And so that's a thought that I want you to keep. The answer is no unless you ask, right? So go make those connections. Go have those talks.
So one of the things I really wanted to bring up, and it's already been touched on, is this fear, rejection, embarrassment, all this stuff. To me, it hinges on the wrong expectation on the way in. Because networking is not actually about you if you want it to be effective. And that takes a lot of the pressure off your shoulders when you realize that. It feels like it's all about you. You walk into a room of 100 people, man, I've got to get all these people to like me. I don't even know if I like them. He's got a cool hat on, but that I don't like. It's a lot until you kind of flip it. And if you make it about them, let them make it about you. People over time, and networking is a long-term investment with compound interest, but over time, if you will consistently invest your attention in other people, they will eventually feel the need to give that back to you. If you ask somebody enough about them, they will get to a point where they say, man, I've been talking about me this whole time. What do you do? And pull that from them in that way. Don't think you have to go and push yourself on people. Go pull from people. If you want to be someone in the room that other people are interested in, you have to be the most interested person in the room. You should have more questions than statements. Go into it remembering the fact that it is not actually about you. Because we talked about what is networking for. Building visibility, trust, becoming a resource. Nobody said, oh, it's a pitch contest. Who can outpitch everybody? There's going to be 4 or 5 people in the room probably that do the same thing you do. Calm down. Relax. Have some tea. It's free, I heard. Make it about them first. And relax. That's one of the big mistakes I see people make, that I think if that little subtle shift can make it a lot easier to go.
Question for everybody. The real estate business, mortgage lending, banking, those are very competitive markets, right? How many, insurance, these are all competitive markets. How many of you feel uncomfortable with competition in the room? See, that's good.
Go
That's
getters.
good. You know, I tell people all the time, put my competition in the room. I want them in the room, because then I have something to build off of. Hey, I'm not over there bashing the people, right? But, you know, when somebody comes into my store and is buying a nut and a bolt, and they walk right in and I say, oh yeah, it's right here, blah, 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 blah. But I'm doing this. Oh, speaking of which, you probably need to put this. I didn't even think that would work better, or that would be safe. And when they go to leave, you know what I say? You won't get that from any store, right? I didn't name anybody, right? But I let them know, I can service this. I have something that you can't find anywhere else. And that's why competition in the room is an opportunity for you to say, hey, I don't know, we do free checking accounts. I'm just going to throw that out. If you're talking to people, let them know. Not all banks do that, right? Because the next person who comes in might say, yeah, we charge $5 a month for banking. Okay? Your competition in the room, it's your opportunity to sell your advantages. Don't feel uncomfortable with your competitors in the room.
And I'd like to add to that too, Trey, is that I think when you have competition, you might find your next job or your next employee. Don't ever think that could not turn into something else that gives you another opportunity.
So I was very happy to see, because some people feel very uncomfortable in their room. You know, we were talking about networking groups, right? I am not a fan, and this is me personally. I'm not bashing anybody, any organization. Let me say that. I'm not a fan of closed networks, of the little network groups. I'm just not a fan. I'm an endless network guy. I want to reach from here to China with my business, and I want my competitor again in the room. That excites me, actually. And we talked about being very different about that.
We disagreed a lot.
But those, and that's why we wanted to do this, to where you could see the differences of what works for somebody. But I'm one of those people. I want to be there in the room. I want a large room, because I'm going to touch everybody in the room. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I did.
That's illegal, but you know.
Can we scratch that from the video? So, but I think I did, besides the one that walked in a little late.
On the Trey, I think there's different ways to look at that as well, because like, I know we're a part of the B&I group over in Metairie, which is a fantastic group, by the way. They have, from each trade, there's only one.
Correct.
And with that being said, the reason why I say look at it different is because in that aspect of the marketing, is all about the referrals. So right now, as of last Thursday, it was like $1 million in closed business just from that group of 50 people, like referring other people.
Right.
You know, and I agree with you. I do like open networking as
Right.
well, because it doesn't matter, competitors or whatever.
And Steven's going to tell you the opposite right now. I'm just telling you from my perspective, and that's me. And so, but the point is, you have to find the network environment in which you can thrive at. And you also have to be willing to adapt. I've been invited, and I've gone to the smaller networking groups, and I'll go in and I'll do that. But I'm a big room networker, because I'm going to find every person in the room I don't know and say, hey, I need to find out where this person lives. Maybe they can vote for me in the future. You know? But you never absolutely know where, who, what. That person might know somebody, and things like that. So go give your perspective, kind of like Heath, on those, because we were talking about networks.
So actually, madam in the back with the fabulous shirt on, what's your name?
Carmen.
Carmen?
Yes, sir.
We haven't met. It's nice to meet you now. You brought up a good point of making the time.
Right.
And I try to think of these sorts of things as part of my workday. And that helps me schedule it so that I force that time on the schedule. And it allows me to avoid one of the other big mistakes, which is inconsistency. So whether the group be larger, like ESTBA Tammany Business Alliance, or a smaller group like myself, Cheryl, or a part of the North Shore Network, which meets once a week, no matter what you're doing, pick your lane and show up every time, because it is going to take months for people to get comfortable enough with you to tell someone else that they should give you some of their money. It's going to take time, but that trust is only built up when they see you at least show up to this, where the drinks and the food are free. If we can't make time for this, how reliable are we? So avoiding the inconsistency to me is one of the biggest mistakes to avoid. And the other one, the last one I have, is I have been accused of having a very good memory. I'm decent at names, and what I hear from anybody that says they don't is, what is the common retort is, I'm not good with names, but boy am I good at faces. How many people have ever said that in this room? Oh, I'm not good at names, but only faces. Nobody's good at names. Write them down. Just write them down. I'm going to remember you, Carmen, because now I've said your name 3 times. I've also written down blonde woman, fabulous shirt, Carmen.
You'll never forget me.
And now I will never forget you.
I know Liv should change the shirt.
Well, hopefully. If she hasn't, that will be a second note. And Carmen never changes the shirt. But find you, be it your phone, be it a notebook, however you like to keep things, write down, keep track of some of the people that you meet. Because there is nothing more memorable than being remembered.
Absolutely.
As hard as it is for you to remember people, think that is the impact you can have the next time you see them, because they feel like they've been forgotten, because they shook 100 hands. And most of those people didn't seem like they were paying attention, and they were afraid of being rejected and all this. But you walk right up to them and say, hey, Michelle, great to talk to you. Good to see you again. And it's like, oh, me? Yes. Sir.
So going back to the consistency, that's kind of why the East St. Tammany Business Alliance Board does their business after hours on, is it the 3rd or 4th Thursday? 3rd. Every 3rd
He should know that.
Thursday of the month.
Can we agree he should know that? He should know that.
And that's why it's on my calendar. Yeah, I have a reminder.
Very
but
good. Very good.
But it's already plugged in, and that's why we do our luncheons. And if you notice, there is a rhythm to everything that we have scheduled, because if everybody can prepare, hey, it's the 3rd Thursday, what's going on to this or not, or what not, is great. Also, I'm going to give a plug. We send out text message reminders, okay, for the event that's happening the morning of. So the business after hours is on a Thursday evening. If we have your phone number, if not, write it on the back of a business card, get it to me, I'll plug you into our system. It'll send out a text reminder to you, hey, don't forget tonight. Because sometimes it's not on, you don't remember, it's not on that. So just putting in that plug in there, we send out a text message for all of our events that we do. So
Second
get on that.
Second Thursday.
Is it the 2nd Thursday? Okay.
I'm not laughing at you.
Look,
I'm laughing with you.
this is why we have a board, right? Because you don't want me just running the whole ship alone. So, but you know, you covered biggest mistakes, inconsistency. One of my, I believe, biggest mistakes, and I see it often, is, again, feeling pushy, closing the deal. And it's like you said, it's about them, right? Networking is about people. I have a saying, I probably post it 20-something times on Facebook a year, and you're going to tell them who the quote came from, because it didn't come from me.
Okay.
Even though I said I have a saying.
This is the 3rd challenge so far.
People will always forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Maya Angelou.
There you go. And that is one of the golden rules I live by, pretty much, right? In business, if that person didn't feel special, if I didn't make that connection, if I didn't invest in that person, if they didn't feel that I was listening and I was listening to respond instead of listening to understand, then how did that person feel? And so take that with you everywhere that you go. Because when somebody says, man, I talked to that person and I felt like they understood me, or I don't even know what they were selling, but they were a great person. You know what? They're going to go find out what you're selling. And they're going to tell people, hey, there's this great guy. You're not going to say, oh, I know a guy that does this. You're going to say, hey, there's this great guy, because of the way that he made you feel. There was this sweet lady. There was this, all of those things. So that is one of the biggest rules in networking is, again, investing back in that person, making them feel a certain way, and having that be your main focus. And again, it's just a great golden rule to live by, period, honestly. And so I encourage you, remember that saying from
Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou, and live by it. My daughters hear me say this all the time. And, my other saying is, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. My 2-year-old can say that. But, you know, that those are just some sayings that I have when it comes to doing business and networking with people. How did I leave my impression? How did I make them feel? Did I feel like, oh my gosh, hey, you need to come buy a bad boy mower from Trey Brownfield over at North Shore Ace Hardware, 1037 Rubber Boulevard? Yeah, did I make them feel like that? Like, oh my gosh, I have a perfectly great John Deere. Somebody's saying I got a perfectly great John Deere lawnmower. Oh, let me tell you about a bad boy. Blah, 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 blah. No, you know, hey, those are good lawnmowers too, man. That's great. That's awesome. Where did you get it? What size deck is it? You know, there's all of these things to turn it on them. And then when that John Deere breaks, because it will, they can come see me for the bad boy lawnmower. You know, so no, but that's a part of networking, is how you make that person feel. And same thing. The people that impact you the most, think about them. Who you refer. Think about those people. You know, when I just said that, we're all in networking and we do all this stuff. You know those people that you are going to refer, because how was your interactions with them? How did they make you feel when you met them? And how impactful were they to you? So that's something else, you know. And again, the mistake could be too pushy. You don't want somebody to feel like, oh my gosh, all they did was shove their bank rates down my throat, right? Or whatever. But they were invested in me as a person. And so one of so that's a mistake and a win right there. But what I call a win or a rule of networking, and Stephen does not like this rule, and it's okay. It's okay. I always, always, always make personal touch with somebody in a conversation. Okay? How many people just cringed in the room?
I hear you, Trey.
I've already done it since we've been sitting here, if you notice.
We were sitting at the coffee station, just kept touching my shoulder. Like, you see?
So, but how many people ever notice somebody touch them in the middle of talking?
I do. I think I do it.
You do it.
I stay away from men if there's a woman next to them because it's offensive. So I'm very careful with that. Women have to be careful. But yeah.
But, you know, in conversations on the aisle with a customer, I'll just say, so look, point in their direction, right? They don't know what I'm doing. I'm making a personal connection with them, whether they believe it or not. It is subtle. I'm telling you, study this stuff. It is so subtle that most of the time nobody notices it unless it's Stephen.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay?
I'm sorry. I was affected by COVID.
but
I don't.
So,
So how would you address the issue that in some cases it could be insulting, it could be disrespectful, even though you're not intending to do that? You really have to understand who you're with or who you're around.
no, and that's true too. You know, I wouldn't do it to the first lady at all. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Or the third.
Or the third. Somebody might hop on me and beat me up.
Well,
read the
I think,
room.
Rennie, I think you just answered your question. I mean, which I'm sure you do, which is try and figure out who you're talking to, you know, before the shoulder.
And it doesn't always have to be the shoulder touch. It could be a shaking of a hand. You know what I mean? You just don't want to walk up. You want people, when they see that you're open, they're going to be open as well. It's kind of like all of the statistics that come with politics, like why you wear a red tie, right? Because this 0.63% impact on people believing what you say more, or why you choose red, white, and blue on your signs, because it gives you there's all of those statistics in networking as well, on why you do what you do, you say what you say, and how many impressions you have to make, all of those things. Go study them. It is really, really impressive when you break it down to the statistic level. You can even ask ChatGPT for these stats these days, honestly, and it'll spit them out for you. Hence why my stat nerdism is going up, because of ChatGPT. Because I'm like, what's the stat on? Okay, and it'll spit it out. But that is something I do, especially with older people. You know, I have. I'm just panning the room, ma'am. But some people don't feel comfortable like that. But I'm a big energy guy, right? And so for me, it's just a part of who I am. And hey, I care for you. You know.
So.
How do you handle the fact that not everybody is comfortable, now, you know I love you, but not everybody is comfortable with that process.
You can read the person.
Well, and-
For the most part.
Or
And
you
we-
change that as, instead of it being a tick or a habit that you do, because in some cases, that's really what it is. It's more of a habit, not necessarily who you're addressing.
Renee, you've been in politics too long. You're creating controversy. So our overlap was that there's going to be different strokes for different folks. He likes to stroke a shoulder, apparently. So I shake everybody's hand, you know, when I talk to him. Big fan of the pound. I like to get across, because his underlying point of making an impression on people. In fact, he said the word impression so much, if somebody had a company called Impression something, it might really work here. I'm not going to do a shameless plug, but anyway, if you wanted to manage those impressions, it's coming. But I try and create that same feeling, because I'm interested in people. People is my business, but it's my business because it's what I love. But I try and get that same feeling across with the way that I'm paying attention to you. So when I'm in a conversation with you, I am only focused on you. I want everyone to know that when they've got my attention, they have it completely. That's very, very important to me. And I also do a little bit of prep work before I'll do a networking event, because I might have 2 or 3 things I'm focused on in my business right there. So if I do come up, I don't have to kind of hem and haw about what it is I'm going to say. I've got it kind of there for me. So I think his underlying point of making sure that people feel your presence is absolutely crucial. And on the tactics side of things, the tools side of things, and this gets a little hairy, because when we're talking about interpersonal stuff, using words like tools and tactics feels a little impersonal, but it's just a label. If I walk into a room full of people that I do not know, I'm going to spend a few minutes surveying the room. I'm going to find 3 or 4 people that are absolutely ripe for a compliment. Either the way they seem to handle themselves in conversation, how put together they look, how fabulous their shirt might be,
I was
Carmen.
about to say.
Good eye.
Everybody likes to be complimented, and I happen to like complimenting people. If there's any better way to start off a conversation, a smile seems to be on the list. If it's a setting like this where everybody's sitting down, I can walk up to a table, don't know anybody, and ask permission to sit. Is it all right if I sit here? And then I'm in. And I can just start to say, well, hello, I'm so-and-so, and whom are you? And go that way. And the other thing is a question of who you are talking to first. So if you are new to a group, go for the name tag. People that are wearing name tags that established the meeting are very incentivized to help you with a few things. Number one, icebreakers. That's what they're there for. They put together networking events because they want to help you network. They are also incentivized to hand you off to someone they think you would love to chat with. One, because they're there to make these connections. It makes the group stronger. And also it gets you out of their way so they can continue talking to other people. They're ripe to hand you off to somebody. Talk to people that wear name tags. In fact, if you network and go into the room talking to the people that put on the networking event, they may even at some point ask you to sit at the front of some of those events and talk about networking. Who knows?
This could be true.
So those are 2 things I give advice to everybody. If you don't know what else to start off with a compliment. Find somebody that you genuinely have something nice to say about, and just go say it. Best way to start a conversation. Genuine is the absolute word. And that also means you have to be honest with yourself that if you look into a room of people long enough, you'll find some things that stand out to you. If you go in there with that expectation, you're not under all this pressure because you have to perform or you're on stage. You're going to just talk to people. Bring the value of what you know, bring the warmth of your personality, and then grab their shoulders incessantly. Just constantly, every time they talk, just push them in the shoulder until they remember you forever. But those would be my top two of tools to use.
Speaking of tools to use, how many of you have business cards? How many of you, keep your hands up. Okay, all of us have business cards. How many of you don't? You're fired. All right, no, I'm kidding. How many of you have your personal phone number on your business cards? Okay, now, I'm not telling you you're doing something wrong.
We
First
can put
off.
our hands down now.
We can put our hands down now. Thank you.
You're
See,
welcome.
this is why I brought you up here.
I'm here for you.
So this is something I learned from our Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. I had my council cards made because you want to be the most accessible person there is, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I want to be accessible. I want to help people. I want a direct line to me. And so we're at the Heritage Festival because I'm the chairman of that. And Billy came out and he says, hey, we took some photos. He says, look, I want you to send those pictures to Trey. Y'all exchange pictures. So I pulled out my card and I handed it to his aide. And I said, here, I said, my cell number's on it. He looked at me. He says, don't ever do that again. Like, what? He says, I got to teach you something real quick. He says, always have a pen and never put your phone number on your card. He says, because it doesn't feel personable. He says, I handwrite my personal cell on every card I hand out. And I was like, man, he says, because I want that person to know I'm sincere, that this is my personal cell, because most people don't believe when it's on a card that that's your personal cell. He says, and that I care.
He's giving me his cell phone number when he called me about, anyway, long story, but yeah, he's like, this is my cell phone number, put it in your phone if you need me, call me.
And how did it make you feel?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and guess what? Threw those cards away, reordered ones without my cell number on them.
Because if it's already printed on there, everybody gets that card.
Correct. Here's my card. It's got my information, and it doesn't feel personable.
Have you tried the dot card?
So, I was going to bring that up.
Okay, so
So I have the dot. Actually, running late today. I was supposed to wear it for today. Dot card. I sent this out. I wrote it in an email. I think it was like December or January. I wrote a little segment about networking on our newsletter, and it had the dot card link. And so basically, it's a tap and go type deal, right? I'm bad. I get in my truck and I throw a business card, and I got stacks of business cards there, and I forget to plug them in my phone. But the tap and go right then and there, it's in front of me. I have to put it in my phone or accept their contact.
So I was gonna say, I have an app.
You have an app? Yeah.
And you can brand your own, so it's already programmed in your phone.
And the dot card, you can put your Cash App in there if you want. Okay. So if anybody wants to Cash App me, just let me know before you leave.
On iPhones, you could tap the back of iPhones, and then you can schedule a text for the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's
So, and that's true. iPhones, does that go to, that doesn't go to Android though?
Certain Androids with certain settings.
Okay, yeah. But the dot card will go across all platforms. And again, they have the wristband, they have the piece that connects to the back of your phone, and they also have the business card. I think it was like $60 or $70 for all three of those. It wasn't.
Set your picture too, because I think that.
Yep, and you can set your picture.
Photo.
Yep.
You also have to be careful how you do that, because a paper card is something I can take and it's not intrusive. I have been at networking events, and they're like, give me your phone, let me send you my, I'm like, who are you?
Right. Well, that's why I like.
I don't want you stuff in my phone. Like, what is your name? Let's start with
That's
that.
why I like
You
the
know,
wristband.
so-
Would you like it? Here you go. You can tap right
I
here.
mean, it's, well, but you still put them in a position of, like,
What?
well, how can I say, no, I don't want your card.
Well, I think it goes.
You can make them feel.
I think it goes back
Say, hey, I got a
to
dot card. Let me
read the
do
room.
this.
Yeah.
Read the room, read the person. If you've got a real comfort level and y'all are just happen to be hitting it off, then you can go one route. If not, you can go the other. But I think
Reading the room, but
preparation.
places where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my.
I'm
Matter
old,
of fact-
I'm
matter of
old
fact,
school too. I
if-
like the paper card.
If you combine the ideas, you're sort of prepared for whatever. So let's just say in a perfect world, we all have these digital ways of giving away
And we
information,
forget them.
and then the only paper way doesn't have the card. So if you do decide to hand a card over, you would write the number. Versus if you decide that you don't want to go that very personal route, you can try the more impersonal kind of digital thing. And I want to keep us, I respect everybody's time. I don't want us to go too far over. So we said that we would wrap with what we thought would be the biggest wins you could have in networking, besides the obvious of getting a 8-page contract signed right there in the middle of the thing. To me, the way that you'll know that you're winning, so to speak, is somebody who's not putting on the event introduces you to somebody else because they think you two should talk. That to me is when you know you're starting to make an impact on the room. Is, you know what? I think you need to meet so-and-so because you two, I can't help you, but maybe you two can work together. That to me is the best, whether anything comes of it or not. The fact that you've been consistent enough that they're willing to kind of put their name on you, to me is just a huge compliment, I think. So what would be your biggest win?
I think that obviously is it, but building those friendships, because that's what networking ultimately becomes, as a friend. Let's face it. If and people call me all the time, Trey, can I use you? I was about to touch you. Trey, if I could use you as a reference, Trey, if I could put your name on this, if I put my name on something, it's going to be good as gold. And so I am very picky about anybody using my name for a reference, because let's face it, in business today, it's difficult. You see people come out and they might have done a good job on yours or whatever, right? But I very, very rarely put it out there. But when I've built a friendship with people and I've heard from several people, then I'm their advocate. I'll be their biggest salesperson there is for them. And so, but their friendship, I value more than anything I can gain or take away. Because if loyalty to me means a lot, and if I can have that loyal friend who's going to go to battle for me and network for me and push my brand, I'm going to do the same for them. And I mean, let's face it, that's what happens a lot in not to pick on these, but in the real estate industry. You have your insurance people. You have I do real estate quite often. I have my group, I call it. I got my lender, I got my real estate agent, and I got my closer. What is that, closing agents? Yeah, title company. And he would kill me. No, I'm kidding. He's in Baton Rouge, but it's okay. But that's it. But I've built friendships out of all of that. And so the biggest win in networking is building that friend in the room. When you're not in the room, they'll network for you. And so that's a big win. And of course, building that clientele also that works for you is another big win in networking. When you can go and Slido Christian Handyman, he did my fence. Anybody needs a fence? Guess what? Slido Christian Handyman. He's done a great job on my fence. And so I can build that brand. We've created a friendship out of him and I doing business together. He shops at Ace, and I recommend him. And he's worked for me, and so it's a great working thing. And we've built a friendship out of business networking. And so friendships last. Businesses don't always, and jobs don't always. But no matter where you go, that friendship is always going to build your brand for you. Whether you change banks, whether you change real estate companies, whether you change any organization or anything like that. Cheryl is everywhere, all the time. Well, it's not much that I can do to network for Hospice House, right? If you think about it, how can I network saying, hey, you're about to die, you need to get in this house?
Everybody's
Right?
dying now.
But it's true. But you know what I did network her 2 weeks ago? Sponsorship team. I sent somebody, they got a team, and they're helping sponsor the Hospice House. So even though I'm like, hey, this would be a great opportunity for you, you need to do that. And so keeping that in mind, and she's faithful, she shows up everywhere, and even though it's not much, it's what I could do to help her. And out of all of these things that happen in the city, guess which one stuck out in my mind the most? What she does. So,
Trey's being modest here. The other big goal that he discussed is avoiding the harassment lawsuit from all the shoulder touch. Is there any questions or input that we can talk about before we adjourn for the day? Anybody got anything? No? Mesmerized? Overwhelmed?
Trey, you dropped your puppy thing.
Yes, sir.
so recap
Oh,
real
Mr.
quick.
Joseph has something.
Joe?
One thing that's magic is when you're meeting somebody, you start to get to know them when you talk to them. What you want to say, no matter how you ask it, tell me your story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you come, how did you get here?
I like that
How did you
question.
get into this job?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, hey, take me forward from 18 years old. How did you get to this point? Nobody ever asks people to tell their story. But that's the most important person to you is me. And
Mhm.
oh, gee, they're interested. And then they'll start pulling out pictures of, you know, what they did when they were younger and all that stuff. But just that little bit of inquiry as to who are you? Tell me about it.
No. Getting away from the very typical, how are you? What do you do?
No,
I think
more,
something-
who are you?
Yeah.
I think something important too, which Joe can kind of lead into that or take it from there, is follow-up. Like I got today,
that's a good
so
point.
these ladies are gonna be getting an email from me, just always asking to
Yeah.
take a tour of the hospice house and just to touch base. But I think we got all these networking meetings, we meet all these people, and then, okay, I'll see y'all next time, you know? So
Yeah.
if you made a connection with somebody, and you're not gonna make 10 connections in everything, but set a follow-up, even if it's just an email or a phone call, or hey, let's go get coffee, I'd like to learn more about where
Yeah.
you came from, like,
Or the text message thing. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
following up is something we didn't touch on enough because, yeah, that's
lunch, we had
crucial.
lunch.
Yeah.
The magic move is the handwritten card, but
Yeah.
that's difficult to fit into a busy life. But an immediate email, hey man, you know, great to meet you earlier today, and you know, look forward to talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you find that sometimes trust is probably one of the hardest things that we can get, either as individuals or businesses from each other, and one of the best ways to do that is to be sincere, to follow up, right? But also to just, how about on a whim, you call them and say, hey, I haven't seen you at one of my meetings, I haven't seen you at a networking event, is everything okay? When you gain the trust from somebody, they're going to do a lot more with you, whether it's business or individually. So it's just something to think about.
Anybody have any questions? Just want to wrap up on this 3 things.
I have a comment.
Yep.
Something I teach my agents is to mimic body language and tonality. And also, we don't realize that we have resting B face on the norm, right? So I was realizing, this was my face. So as I'm talking on the phone now, I try to smile while I talk, or when I'm doing a listing presentation, or when I'm talking to you. While I'm smiling and I'm talking to you, you're actually going to start smiling back to me. So I feel like body language, tonality, and your facial expressions have a lot to do with networking as well.
No, you're absolutely right. And that goes with everything. That smile goes with everything. So our next networking event is our next workshop is in June. May or June.
Either one.
We have the date picked. We haven't advertised it, but it will probably be June 24th. It will be at the theater on Robert Boulevard. Cutting Edge. Thank
nice.
you.
Nice.
We're going to have a panelist of marketing. Bruce Black is going to be there. Appreciate you coming today, Bruce. And so that is something that we're looking forward to. Again, it's free. We're going to have some drinks
You said his name, but I mean.
with laser image marketing. The hat symbol gave it away. But we're going to have a panelist on marketing I guess the do's, the don'ts, the wins, how to, when's the best time to post something on Facebook, whatever might be your best marketing
All that.
strategy. That's him, not me. But the two biggest takeaways I think I want you to remember from me today, and then I'll let Stephen close it up, is remember it's a no until you ask, or you stop and you make that connection. And then people will always forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And to me, those are the two biggest wins and takeaways that we can have is that mindset in networking.
All right, we'll try and get it concise and pithy the way that you did. If you make it about them, they will make it about you, and be the most interested person in the room. And that's it. Pressure's off. Just go chill and have free tea. All right, I'm glad y'all all made it. Thank you.
2 Business Alliance
Yep.
events coming up on Thursday, April 9th,